Okay, so with the Triple Crown being last weekend, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Don't worry, it's not about racing, so hopefully people don't get mad at me for this one. It has to do with riders being able to take 2 bikes through tech and being able to race 2 bikes throughout the night. So at a normal American Outdoor National or Supercross, you're only allowed 1 bike throughout the whole day. You take that 1 bike through tech, where they check a lot of different things. They check to see if you have like an eject device in your helmet. They check logos and numbers and stuff on your jersey and your bike, and they kind of do a little glance over of your bike to make sure it's safe. There's no cracks in the frames or your spokes aren't loose. But that's about it. And then they put a sticker on your bike. That sticker has a number on it. They write that number next to your name, and that's the 1 frame you get to ride for the whole day. Now for the Triple Crown, they allow each rider to have 2 bikes. And this is because the turnaround time in between each of the motos is pretty small. So even the factory teams, if something were to happen, it would be hard for them to fix the bike and get it out there for the next moto. This whole 2 bike thing is something that I think should be allowed at every Outdoor National, every Supercross race. Even the GPs allow it. And where is my phone? On my phone, I took a screenshot of the GP's rule book so I could show you. It says riders can use 2 motorcycles during the weekend which have been controlled at technical verification, which is tech. So they allow every rider to have 2 bikes that they can ride throughout the weekend. And then there's this one little note that I think is pretty interesting. It says after the sighting lap, a rider can change motorcycle as long as he has not taken his position behind the starting gate. So if I'm reading that right, you can go out on your sight lap, come in, switch bikes, and then race on a different bike than you went out on the sight lap for. So for like a mud race or something, if you wanted to go out on a sight lap, you could go out, check out the track, come back in, switch your bike to a brand new, clean, nice bike, and then go race that one. That's ridiculous. But the whole point is that GPs allow 2 bikes per rider. And the reason I think that all races should be like that is mostly for the privateers. The factory guys, it's not going to affect that much because they have the manpower to fix bikes in between motos that most privateer riders don't have. If something were to happen in one of the motos, one of the heats for Supercross, whatever, say your motor blows up, most privateers don't have the manpower to take their motor out of their, say, practice bike and put it into their race bike to swap the 2. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to do that at a national. There's no way. It's just me and like my dad and maybe a friend that are there for my mechanics. That's just not really something that's possible for me to do. So if I were to blow a motor in the first moto, I don't think I'd be lining up for the second moto. And letting privateers use 2 bikes, it's not going to affect factory riders at all. I don't think anybody would be opposed to somebody riding their practice bike over their race bike. The practice bike is never better than the race bike. As spectators, wouldn't you want as many people as possible on the line? Wouldn't you want as little empty gates as possible at each race? And then as another situation, for example, me at Hangtown this last year, on Friday when you go through tech and everything, we were looking at the weather forecast and it said that there was a possibility that it would rain in the middle of the night before Saturday. So at that point, I had my race bike and the motor had like less than an hour on it. Seeing that it was most likely going to be mud first practice, I know it's already mud first practice at a national, but it would be even muddier. That wasn't something I really wanted to take my brand new motor out on. So on Friday, we ended up taking my practice bike through tech, which my practice bike is pretty much completely stock. There's like a tiny bit of revalving done on the suspension, but other than that, doesn't even have a pipe on it. Saturday comes, there was no rain the night before. Track ended up being fine. I went out for practice on my practice bike and I felt terrible. My suspension was way too soft. It just wasn't really set up for a national track, and it showed in my lap times because I was like one of the slowest people out there. I just felt so uncomfortable. And if I had been on my race bike, I might have done a little bit better. I might have felt a little bit better. At that point on Friday, I didn't know what to do. And if I would have been able to take 2 bikes through tech, then in the morning I would have seen that the weather was fine. I could take my race bike out there and there would be no problems. And then later in the day, when that rain came, as a privateer, you can decide, hey, I'm not riding my race bike for this second moto. I don't want to blow it up. I want to be able to ride it next weekend. So you just ride your practice bike in the second moto, because at that point in mud, I don't think it's going to make a difference whether you're on your race bike or not. And so you're probably going to choose your practice bike. It just seems that, to me, the one frame throughout the day hurts the privateers way more than it does factory guys. AMA, MX Sports, Feld, FIM, whoever is in control of these rules and in control of the whole weekend in general, they don't really care about privateers. They don't. I could give out a lot more examples to that, but I'm not going to. And just this one little rule change could help privateers a lot, and it may not seem like that big of a deal, but to me, it would be a big deal. To other riders, maybe not so much. Maybe they don't care. But to me, it would have been kind of nice to have that option. Ever since Triple Crowns started, and they said that 2 bikes could go through tech, this is something that's kind of interested me. I've thought that that should be a rule, that should be at every race. So I just wanted to make this video to express that. Let me know what you think about that rule change down below, if you think it would be a good idea or not. Each rider should get 1 bike or 2, or if you really don't care what you're riding. But that's my view on it, and that's all I really have to say. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.